and 1. Okay, so today, a very quick video on exploring what is a sheitel. I'm going to give you an example as always, and for those of you unfamiliar with the term sheitel, or maybe understanding a little bit of the background as to what it is and why Jewish women cover, we are going to very lightly touch upon that. Okay, so basically a sheitel is just another word used by some groups of Jews, predominantly Orthodox Jews, to describe the term wig. So sheitel is synonymous with wig. Now there's a little bit of differences in the styles and the acceptance of sheitels, and that comes down to sort of, if you've ever heard in the wig world, a Jewish style cap. And again, I'm going to bring you up some examples. But just a really quick fact as to how far back Jewish women have been actually wearing wigs in place of a head covering. As you can see, I actually have a head wrap on right now. I alternate between wearing a wig and wearing a tie and some hats and things like that. The Shulchan Aruch of the 16th century actually permitted wigs through Joshua Boaz ben Simon Baruch. And he was the one that actually passed the order of it being acceptable that women, Jewish women, should wear wigs to cover their hair when they get married. And that was in the year 1557. So Jewish women have been wearing wigs for quite some time. In some communities, it is not permissible for Jewish women, according to their Rav, to wear a wig. And in others, it is. If you're Sephardic, if you're Ashkenazi, there's a lot of like little details and discrepancies. And also the style of wig, which is something that we see a lot of differences in. Some Jewish women prefer to wear a wig that actually looks like a wig. And the reason being, they want people to know they're wearing a wig. They want people to know that they're married. It kind of falls in the line of what would be considered modest in some circles and some not. And I say that there's a lot of differences for people who hold in different areas. Even what I'm wearing right now, with having the bit of my hair out in front, as you can see, would not be acceptable in some circles. I know if my mother-in-law had YouTube or Facebook or any of these things, she probably would not be too happy. And the fact that my collarbone is showing, but we're not going to get into that right now. We're just going to give you an example of a sheitel, a standard Jewish wig sheitel. I have one right next to me, and I'm going to kind of show you guys. I've showed you in other videos, but since we're on the topic of sheitels and Jewish head coverings, I wanted to give you an example. So typically speaking, a sheitel is not going to have front lace. The front lace is going to give it a very natural, realistic feel. A lot of sheitels, the Jewish style cap constructions, do not have front lace. Some do. But I have next to me, just like your standard sheitel, it is a little bit longer. A very, I would say, modest, simple sheitel would probably fall somewhere around the shoulder. It probably would be a little bit more natural colored in terms of browns. It wouldn't have a front lace. It would look a little more, for lack of a better term, wiggy. But again, everybody holds differently, and one is not better than the other. I respect everybody's opinions for how they hold and things like that. But let's go ahead and grab this. So this is a little bit longer of a unit. And as you can see, I hid the brand over here. It's not my brand, but this is not a front lace wig. And what we have under here is that Jewish style machine weft cap. And what that is like the heavy duty sort of weft material that it's machine sewn. And again, we have that monofilament top, which is a little bit thicker than a skin top or a silk top. And in one of my other videos, I also kind of go over skin top. But again, you have what looks like almost like a fabric-y mesh material. Now this unit, again, this is a little bit longer, and it's very blonde and light, and we're actually going to take this in another video, and we're going to do a demonstration of rooting. But just so you have an idea, if you're wondering like, why do Jewish women cover, and sort of what is a sheitel, you hear these terms, maybe kippah is kind of a Jewish term that was taken out. I have another video on that. You can kind of get an understanding that it's really just a wig, and women wear it when they get married. Some women wear it when they get married, some don't cover, and that's okay. And you know, in terms of like why some wear it, why some don't, why some wear this, it's a very complicated and long explanation. For those of you unfamiliar with Orthodoxy and or really learning the halakkas of it, that's a whole other conversation. But essentially, there's a few sources in our scripture, in the Torah and other Rabbanim, that have led us to follow the practice that a married woman should be covering her hair. And I'm not going to give a Devorah Torah on here. I'm not going to kind of go into that right now, but I just wanted to give a light introduction. For those of you who are not Jewish women and who are wearing wigs and maybe have seen this type of cap construction, some of the manufacturers, particularly I think a lot of Chinese is what I've seen, like they'll say kosher wigs or they'll say Jewish style cap construction. And that means that it's a machine weft, it has a monofilament top. The issue of kosher wigs is another thing. I'll probably do an extension on that topic. The kosher certification that some wigs have, I don't necessarily know how authentic it is, but it's trying to provide people with an alternative to Indian or temple hair, because that's forbidden in our religion to use. That's why if anybody asks me if I do Indian hair, the answer is no. I do not, and that again is a whole nother issue. But I hope you enjoyed this introduction. If you'd like some questions answered in an extension to this video, please drop them below. You can private message me and I will do my best to answer them. Again, this is a very, very complicated, long topic. I'm very much so touching upon the surface of it, but if there's something that somebody would like to know more, I'm happy to help if I can. I hope you guys enjoyed.